Ladies and gentlemen, take a deep breath. Feel the energy in this room. Something powerful is stirring, isn't it? It's that voice inside you, the one that knows you deserve better. It's the voice that's whispering, it's time. We stay because we're afraid. Afraid of being judged, afraid of confrontation, afraid of being labeled the bad guy. But let me tell you this, there comes a time in every person's life when they have to choose peace over people pleasing. And that time, my friends, is now. Ghosting isn't just about others. Sometimes it's about ghosting versions of yourself that no longer serve you. You know the one I'm talking about, that self-doubting, second-guessing, settling for less version of you. Today, I'm giving you permission to let go of that. Here's the truth. No one wants to tell you not everyone is meant to go where you're headed. Not every friendship, not every job, not every mindset gets a boarding pass to your future. First, be honest with yourself. Ask, is this person, this environment, this habit aligned with my highest good? If the answer is no, then it's time to consider stepping away. Second, set boundaries. Sometimes ghosting isn't about disappearing, it's about defining. Define what you're available for and what you are not. Third, trust the process. Oh, this one's hard. When you ghost negativity, loneliness may knock on your door, but don't you dare let it back you into a corner. Instead, fill that space with purpose, with joy, with you. Life has a way of piling up. Responsibilities, relationships, commitments, they stack like papers on a desk until one day you look around and realize you're buried. The weight of it all can be suffocating. What's worse, not everything in that pile is even serving you. Some things actively work against you, draining your energy, stifling your creativity, and keeping you from being the best version of yourself. This is why it's crucial to declutter your life and ghost toxicity. Toxicity comes in many forms. It might be a friendship where negativity dominates every conversation. It could be a habit that chips away at your confidence, or a work environment that suffocates your potential. Sometimes it's even the inner voice that convinces you to settle for less than you deserve. These things might feel familiar, even comfortable, but they are far from harmless. Over time, toxicity creates a ripple effect, affecting not only your mood, but your health, your relationships, and your sense of purpose. Ghosting toxicity is not about avoidance or escapism, it's about self-respect. When you choose to let go of things that no longer serve you, you're making a powerful statement about your worth. You're saying, I deserve better, and that decision sets a standard for everything that follows. But breaking free isn't easy. The hard truth is that many of us hold on to toxic situations out of fear of change, fear of confrontation, fear of loneliness. These fears are valid, but they are not worth the price you pay for staying stuck. The process begins with awareness. You can't declutter what you don't acknowledge. Take a close look at your life. Who or what consistently leaves you feeling drained? Are there people whose presence feels more like a storm cloud than a ray of sunshine? Are there habits that sabotage your progress or commitments that feel like anchors tied to your ankles? Once you identify the sources of toxicity, you can begin the work of letting go. Letting go often requires courage. The idea of ghosting can feel drastic, even ruthless, but it's not about cruelty, it's about creating boundaries where they've been lacking. Boundaries are not walls, they're gates. They let the right things in and keep the wrong things out. When you ghost toxicity, you're not closing yourself off from the world, you're opening yourself up to better possibilities. For some, this might mean walking away from a relationship that no longer feels supportive. For others, it might involve stepping back from obligations that overextend your capacity. Sometimes it's about learning to say no without guilt, reclaiming time and energy for yourself. These decisions can be painful, especially if the toxicity comes from people or situations you once cherished. But pain is temporary. The peace that comes from decluttering your life is lasting. The beauty of this process is that it doesn't require confrontation if that's not your style. Ghosting toxicity can be a quiet act. You don't need to announce your exit or justify your decisions. You don't owe anyone an explanation for prioritizing your well-being. In fact, silence is often the most powerful message you can send. When you stop engaging with negativity, it loses its grip on you. As you begin to declutter, something magical happens. You start to notice the space you've created, space to breathe, to dream, to grow. That space is where the good stuff happens. It's where you find clarity about who you are and what you want. It's where you attract relationships that uplift you, opportunities that excite you, and habits that nourish you. The more you let go of what weighs you down, the more you rise. Decluttering your life isn't a one-time event. Toxicity has a way of creeping back in if you're not vigilant. This is why self-reflection is so important. Check in with yourself regularly. Ask if the things you've allowed into your life still align with your values and goals. If not, don't be afraid to ghost them. Ghosting toxicity is not about being selfish, it's about being whole. It's about recognizing that you can't pour from an empty cup, and that taking care of yourself is the most generous thing you can do for the people who truly matter. When you show up as your best, healthiest self, you inspire others to do the same. This is your life. You get to decide what stays and what goes. So start clearing out the clutter, one toxic thing at a time. Ghosting isn't an end, it's a beginning. When you free yourself from toxicity, you open the door to a life filled with possibility, purpose, and peace. In a world that constantly demands your time, energy, and attention, the concept of boundaries can feel elusive, even radical. But the truth is, boundaries are not just necessary, they are beautiful. They are the invisible lines that define where you end and the world begins, the framework that allows you to exist as your truest, healthiest self. Without boundaries, life becomes a blur of obligations and compromises, leaving you drained, resentful, and disconnected from your own needs. Boundaries are an act of self-love. They are your way of saying, I matter too often. We are taught to equate worthiness with availability. The more accessible, accommodating, or self-sacrificing we are, the more valuable we feel. But this belief is a trap. It leaves no room for balance or reciprocity. When you say yes to everyone and everything, you end up saying no to yourself. That's where boundaries come in, not as walls to isolate you, but as bridges to a more balanced, fulfilling life. Defining your limits begins with understanding yourself. It requires you to tune out the noise of expectations and tune into your own needs, desires, and capacities. What feels good to you? What feels like too much? These questions might seem simple, but answering them honestly can be transformative. They force you to confront what you've been tolerating and what you truly want. Setting boundaries often requires unlearning deeply ingrained habits. Many of us were raised to be people pleasers, to avoid conflict at all costs, and to put others' comfort above our own. These tendencies can make the idea of boundaries feel selfish or confrontational. But boundaries are neither. They are a form of respect both for yourself and for others. By being clear about what you can and cannot give, you create relationships that are grounded in honesty and mutual understanding. The process of establishing boundaries can feel uncomfortable, especially at first. It means saying no when you've been conditioned to say yes. It means speaking up when you've been taught to stay silent. It means risking disapproval from others in order to honor yourself. These moments of discomfort are where growth happens. Each time you enforce a boundary, you reinforce your sense of self-worth. One of the most powerful aspects of boundaries is their ability to create clarity. Without them, relationships can become tangled and messy, full of unspoken expectations and unmet needs. Boundaries bring definition. They let others know what you need to feel respected, supported, and safe. And when others know your boundaries, they have the opportunity to meet them or not. Either way, the clarity is liberating. It's important to remember that boundaries are not about controlling others, they are about managing yourself. You cannot force someone to respect your limits, but you can choose how you respond when they don't. This might mean limiting your interactions with certain people, walking away from situations that feel toxic, or simply refusing to engage in dynamics that leave you feeling depleted. Boundaries are not static, they evolve as you do. What you needed last year may not be what you need now, and that's okay. The key is to stay in touch with yourself and to be willing to adjust your boundaries as necessary. This fluidity allows you to grow without compromising your sense of self. Enforcing boundaries can sometimes feel like an uphill battle, especially with people who are used to you being endlessly available. You may encounter pushback, guilt tripping, or even outright resistance. But this resistance is not a reflection of your worth, it is a reflection of others' discomfort with change. Stay firm. Your boundaries are not negotiable. They are not up for debate. It's also worth noting that boundaries are not just about what you say no to, they are also about what you say yes to. When you set limits, you create space for the things that truly matter to you. You have more energy for the people, activities, and goals that bring you joy. Boundaries are an invitation to live a life that feels intentional and aligned. At their core, boundaries are about trusting yourself to know what you need and trusting others to respect it. This trust builds confidence. It helps you stand taller, speak clearer, and move through the world with a sense of purpose. Over time, boundaries become less about defense and more about definition. They stop feeling like something you have to enforce and start feeling like a natural expression of who you are. Living with boundaries is not always easy, but it is always worth it. They allow you to reclaim your time, protect your energy, and prioritize your well-being. They remind you that you are not here to be everything to everyone. You are here to be fully, beautifully, unapologetically yourself. There is a quiet power in the act of walking away. It doesn't require fanfare, announcements, or dramatic explanations. A silent exit carries a weight that words often cannot. It is the ultimate declaration of self-respect and the clearest way to protect your energy. In a world where people feel entitled to explanations for your every move, choosing to leave without a sound is an act of rebellion and, more importantly, an act of self-preservation. Life is filled with moments when silence is the most eloquent response. When faced with negativity, disrespect, or situations that deplete your energy, engaging in prolonged conversations or conflicts can feel like pouring water into a bucket with holes. The more you explain, defend, or try to justify your departure, the more you exhaust yourself. Silence, however, allows you to conserve that energy. It speaks volumes without saying a word, sending a message that your peace is more important than someone else's approval or understanding. Protecting your energy starts with recognizing where it is being drained. Often, we find ourselves entangled in situations or relationships that no longer serve us. These can take the form of one-sided friendships, toxic work environments, or patterns of behavior that keep us stuck. The longer you stay in these spaces, the more they take from you time, joy, confidence, and even your sense of self. A silent exit is not about avoidance, it is about prioritization. It is choosing to place your well-being above the noise of unnecessary drama. Silent exits are not acts of cruelty, though they are often misunderstood as such. They are not about punishing others or withholding closure. Instead, they are about recognizing that closure is not always something you owe to others. Sometimes closure is a gift you give yourself by walking away without looking back. You do not need to explain your boundaries to someone who has already crossed them. You do not need to justify your need for peace to someone who thrives on chaos. Your decision to leave is reason enough. One of the most liberating aspects of silent exits is their simplicity. They remove the pressure to perform, to craft the perfect goodbye, or to engage in emotional labor that you no longer have the capacity for. Walking away quietly allows you to focus on what truly matters, your next steps. It shifts the narrative from why you are leaving to where you are going. It's an act of turning inward, of rediscovering your strength and redirecting your energy toward growth. A silent exit also demands trust in yourself to make the right decision and trust in the process of letting go. Walking away without explanation can feel like stepping into the unknown, especially if you've been conditioned to seek validation from others. But the beauty of silence is that it creates space. It gives you room to breathe, to heal, and to rebuild. In that space, you will find clarity and strength you didn't know you had. There is also a ripple effect to consider. When you walk away silently, you set a powerful example for others. You show them that it is possible to choose peace over conflict, to value yourself enough to step away from what no longer serves you. This doesn't mean you are closing yourself off from the world. It means you are opening yourself up to better things. The act of protecting your energy inspires others to do the same, creating a cycle of self-respect and empowerment. Silent exits are not about running away from challenges or avoiding accountability. They are about discerning which battles are worth your time and which are not. Some situations do require confrontation, dialogue, and effort to resolve. But when you've given all you can and the situation remains unchanged, or when the cost of staying outweighs the benefit, it is not weakness to walk away. It is wisdom. Choosing silence is a way of reclaiming your power. It reminds you that you do not have to participate in every argument, attend every fight, or justify every decision. Your energy is sacred, and not everyone is entitled to a piece of it. By leaving quietly, you take control of your narrative. You decide who and what gets your attention, and you set the tone for how you will be treated moving forward. There is an undeniable strength in reclaiming your power, a kind of quiet confidence that grows when you decide to put yourself first. It's not about selfishness or neglecting others. It's about recognizing that you are the foundation of your own life. If that foundation isn't strong, everything built upon it wobbles and shakes. Choosing yourself is not just an act of survival, it's an act of thriving. It's about stepping into the version of yourself that you've always been meant to be, free from the weight of external expectations and distractions that pull you away from your true path. For so many of us, the idea of prioritizing ourselves feels foreign, even uncomfortable. We've been taught to give, to accommodate, to serve, often at the expense of our own needs. Society has a way of glorifying self-sacrifice, making it seem noble to put others first and to always be available. But this narrative comes at a cost that shows up as burnout, resentment, and a deep sense of disconnect from your own desires. Reclaiming your power starts with rejecting the belief that your worth is tied to how much you can give to others. Choosing yourself first requires an honest look at where your energy is going. Are you pouring yourself into relationships that take more than they give? Are you saying yes to commitments that don't align with your goals? Are you prioritizing others' comfort at the expense of your own happiness? These are hard questions, but they are necessary. Self-reflection is the first step toward change. You can't reclaim your power if you don't first recognize where you've been giving it away. Once you identify the areas where you've been overextending, the next step is to create boundaries. Boundaries are not barriers, they are guidelines for how you want to be treated and how you will treat yourself. They are a way of saying, this is what I need to feel whole, to feel respected, to feel like myself. Boundaries are an essential tool in choosing yourself because they create the space for you to prioritize your needs without guilt. They remind you and others that your well-being matters. But reclaiming your power is not just about what you say no to, it's also about what you say yes to. It's about reconnecting with the things that bring you joy, purpose, and fulfillment. When was the last time you did something simply because it made you happy? When was the last time you pursued a goal or dream that was entirely your own? Choosing yourself means giving yourself permission to explore these questions and to act on the answers. It's important to understand that this journey is not always easy. Choosing yourself often means making hard decisions. It might mean walking away from relationships or situations that no longer align with who you are or where you're going. It might mean disappointing people who have come to rely on your constant availability. These moments can be painful, but they are also necessary. Growth rarely comes without discomfort. Each time you choose yourself, you are strengthening the foundation upon which your future will be built. Reclaiming your power also means taking responsibility for your life. It's about recognizing that while you can't control everything that happens to you, you can control how you respond. You can choose to let go of what no longer serves you, to forgive yourself for past mistakes, and to move forward with intention. This is where true empowerment lies, not in trying to control the world around you, but in mastering the world within you. The beauty of choosing yourself is that it doesn't just benefit you, it benefits everyone around you. When you prioritize your well-being, you show up as your best self. You have more energy, more patience, and more love to give because you're not running on empty. You become an example to others, showing them that it's okay to prioritize their own needs too. This ripple effect can transform not only your life, but the lives of those you care about. Choosing yourself also means embracing your individuality. It's about owning your unique voice, your unique dreams, and your unique path. Too often, we dim our light to fit into molds that were never meant for us. Reclaiming your power is about breaking free from those molds and shining as brightly as you were always meant to. It's about living authentically, even when that authenticity challenges others' expectations of you. Reclaiming your power is a deeply personal journey, but it's one that is worth every step. It's about learning to trust yourself again, to listen to your instincts, and to honor your worth. It's about realizing that you don't have to wait for permission to live the life you want. You have everything you need within you to create a life that feels true, joyful, and free. Every time you choose yourself, you are taking one step closer to that life. Letting go is one of the most difficult yet liberating actions you can take in life. It is a process that requires courage, introspection, and trust in what lies ahead. Often, we hold on to things, relationships, habits, beliefs, or even physical possessions because they feel familiar, comfortable, or safe. But growth cannot happen in the confines of comfort. To truly level up, you must release what no longer serves you and create space for new opportunities, perspectives, and possibilities to flourish. Letting go is not about loss, it is about transformation. Growth begins with the recognition that some things in your life are holding you back. Perhaps it's a toxic relationship that drains your energy or a job that no longer aligns with your aspirations. Maybe it's a habit that limits your potential or a mindset that keeps you stuck in fear. Identifying these barriers is not always easy. It requires honesty and a willingness to confront the parts of your life that feel stagnant or unfulfilling. This self-awareness is the first step toward change, as it allows you to see where you are and where you want to be. Once you've identified what's holding you back, the real work begins. Letting go is not just an act, it's a mindset. It means acknowledging that clinging to what's familiar often comes at the expense of your growth. It means choosing to release the weight of the past so that you can step into the future with clarity and purpose. This process can be painful, especially when it involves saying goodbye to people or situations that once meant so much to you. But pain is a natural part of growth. Just as a seed must break through its shell to sprout, you must break through your own barriers to reach your potential. Letting go also requires trust in yourself and in the journey ahead. It can feel daunting to leave behind what you know, even when you're certain it's no longer right for you. Fear of the unknown can be paralyzing, but it's important to remember that growth always involves some level of uncertainty. Trusting the process means believing that what lies ahead is greater than what you're leaving behind. It's about having faith in your ability to navigate whatever comes next, knowing that every step you take is bringing you closer to your goals. The act of letting go is not just about removing things from your life, it's about creating space. When you let go of what no longer serves you, you make room for what does. This space is where growth happens. It's where new opportunities, relationships, and experiences can take root. It's where you rediscover yourself and what truly matters to you. Without this space, your life becomes overcrowded with the old, leaving no room for the new. This process is not linear. There will be moments when you question your decisions, when the pull of the past feels stronger than the promise of the future. That's okay. Growth is not about being perfect, it's about being persistent. Each time you let go of something that no longer serves you, you are strengthening your ability to choose what does. You are learning to prioritize your well-being, your happiness, and your purpose. Letting go also teaches you valuable lessons about detachment and resilience. It helps you understand that your worth is not tied to the things you hold on to. You are not defined by your possessions, your job title, or your relationships. Your worth comes from within, and letting go allows you to reconnect with that inner strength. It reminds you that you are capable of adapting, evolving, and thriving no matter what challenges come your way. The beauty of letting go is that it's not about forgetting or erasing the past. It's about honoring what it taught you and using those lessons to move forward. Every experience, no matter how difficult, has shaped you into who you are today. By letting go, you are not dismissing the value of those experiences. You are simply choosing not to let them define your future. You are taking the wisdom they gave you and using it to build something better. Letting go is an act of liberation. It frees you from the chains of fear, doubt, and limitation. It opens doors to new possibilities and allows you to embrace change with an open heart and mind. It's a declaration that you are ready to step into the next chapter of your life, unburdened by the weight of what once was. Each time you let go, you are leveling up, creating a life that is not just bigger, but better, more aligned, and more fulfilling. In life, it's easy to become attached to people, places, habits, and goals that once felt meaningful but no longer serve who you are becoming. This attachment can feel comforting, even when it conflicts with your deeper purpose. The truth is, growth and fulfillment often require choosing alignment over attachment, a commitment to staying true to your core values, dreams, and purpose, even if it means letting go of what is familiar. Alignment is not about perfection or having everything figured out. It's about living in a way that reflects your truest self and what matters most to you. Staying aligned with your purpose begins with clarity. You need to know who you are and what you stand for. This requires reflection and honesty. What do you value most? What brings you joy, fulfillment, and a sense of meaning? Alignment is rooted in these answers. It's about identifying what feels right at your core and making choices that honor those feelings. When you know your purpose, you can better discern what fits into your life and what does not. Attachment, on the other hand, often stems from fear of change, fear of loss, fear of the unknown. It's the voice in your head that says, what if this is the best it will ever get? Or what if letting go is a mistake? These fears can tether you to relationships, jobs, or lifestyles that no longer resonate with who you are. Attachment is about holding on, often out of habit or obligation, while alignment is about moving forward with intention and trust. Choosing alignment requires courage. It means being willing to face discomfort, uncertainty, and sometimes even criticism. People may not understand your decisions, especially if they've grown accustomed to the version of you that is attached to certain roles or dynamics. But staying true to your purpose is not about pleasing others, it's about honoring yourself. When you prioritize alignment, you begin to live in a way that feels authentic and grounded. The process of choosing alignment over attachment often involves making difficult decisions. You might have to walk away from a friendship that has become one-sided, a career path that no longer excites you, or a routine that feels stagnant. These choices can be painful, but they are also liberating. Each decision to prioritize alignment over attachment is a step toward a life that feels more meaningful and aligned with who you are becoming. Alignment also demands self-awareness. It's not enough to set goals or identify your purpose. You must consistently check in with yourself to ensure you are still on the right path. Life is dynamic, and so are you. What aligned with your purpose 5 years ago might not align with it today. Staying true to your purpose means being open to change, to growth, and to the possibility that your vision for your life will evolve over time. One of the most powerful aspects of choosing alignment is the sense of freedom it brings. Attachment can feel heavy, like carrying a weight that grows with time. When you release that weight and choose alignment, you create space for new opportunities, relationships, and experiences that are more in tune with your current values and goals. This space allows you to grow without feeling confined by outdated expectations or obligations. Choosing alignment also enhances your relationships. When you live in alignment with your purpose, you attract people who resonate with your values and vision. These connections are deeper and more fulfilling because they are built on authenticity and mutual respect. By prioritizing alignment, you also inspire others to do the same, creating a ripple effect of honesty and purposefulness in your relationships and community. Another key aspect of alignment is trusting yourself, your journey, and the process of life. Attachment often comes with a sense of control, the belief that holding on tightly will ensure stability or success. Alignment, however, requires you to release that control and trust that everything will unfold as it's meant to. This trust allows you to move forward with confidence, knowing that staying true to your purpose will always lead you to the right opportunities and experiences. Alignment over attachment is not about rejecting everything that no longer fits, it's about embracing what does. It's about building a life that feels expansive and intentional, where every decision and action reflects your deepest values. This is not always easy. It requires discipline, patience, and a willingness to let go of what no longer serves you. But the rewards are immeasurable. When you live in alignment with your purpose, you create a life that feels authentic, meaningful, and free. You step into your power, not as someone tethered to the past, but as someone boldly moving toward the future.